All right, we will try to keep it quicker today. I know you guys want to do a longer warm-up.
Yeah, it's
for obvious
freezing.
reasons.
Yeah.
Oh, why, yeah.
Arin, I would say, first of all, welcome back, both for the season and on a multi-year contract. Can you talk us through, that decision in the off-season and sort of your mindset as you come into your second year here?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't much of a decision, if I'm being honest. I was trying to keep it close, keep my cards close, because I didn't want them to know how much I wanted to come back. But I'm super thrilled. Being back home last year was so nostalgic and awesome, getting to see all my friends, and 1 year just wasn't enough. I went into the off season, thinking about how much fun I had, how many more memories I got to create with all my childhood friends that I hadn't done in almost a decade. So it was really big for me to get a multi-year deal. My son, he started at Holy Spirit, and he absolutely loved the community and the school, and I met so many friends, and so I really wanted him to continue to grow up here in the state that I grew up in. And I got to do that. So I'm very excited to be back. And we didn't even reach half the potential with this team that we wanted to do. We wanted to make playoffs. We didn't. So I had unfinished business.
Did that make a difference for you on the field last year, the personal difference of being back home, and put you at ease when there's a lot of change going around making that move?
Yeah, I mean, I think personally, when you're back at home for the first time and you're playing in front of all the people who watched you grow up, it gives you that extra bit of push. It's kind of like when I was playing on a different team and I'd come here, everyone would be like, dang, what did Arin eat today, So it was kind of that every single game. I do feel a bit more settled now, which is probably a good thing. I was also playing a new position last year, and I feel a lot more comfortable in it, and I really feel like I can lead my teammates now.
What do you see when you look at the back line that you guys bring back? Obviously, Abby out of the picture now, a few new faces in there. What do you think is key for that group?
I think even, with a few changes that we've had, we still have quite a bit of depth, and we have quite a bit of experience. Allie Jean got quite a few minutes last year. Ellie P has quite a bit of experience as well with her national team and here. Lowe's been here from the birth. So with all that experience and then the youth that we've now brought in, all that knowledge is just going to be passed on, and I think it's going to be a seamless, fit.
I was going to say, whether it's been personnel, coaches, it seems like you've always had a lot of change, and this year we don't have a lot of change. How much do you think that benefits you guys?
Oh, it's
when
great.
You go at the target of the playoffs.
Oh, it's great. For players, to know who you're working with, to know them personally, and them know you personally. When you come into a season, it's just an easy start. You have that relationship built. So I think we're excited for that. We know what they expect of us, and we're excited. We already had our first meeting, and we set our goals for the year, and everyone's on the same page from day one.
How much do you think that kind of plays into a factor for someone like Bev, too? Like not having that much change, her being a first-year head coach last year, and now coming into this one with a lot of the same pieces in place?
Yeah, I think we've got quite a few new ones, and we got quite a few trialists in preseason. So I think she's probably going to be looking to see how the players that were here last year are going to respond to those new players in the environment. Are they going to take them under their wing? Are they going to help them out? She's going to be looking at that for the returners, and also, how do you stack up, So I think it does make her job a little bit easier because she knows the potential of all the people that were here already. So it's less people to assess, but it doesn't make her job any easier to figure out who's going to be on that field.
As a veteran, what advice do you have for the rookies?
Be your best self every day on and off the field, and lean into the advice that other people are giving you. I think a lot of times when you come in, you're playing a certain style with whatever college team or whatever youth national team you were playing with, and you come into a new environment, they play a completely different formation. So while you might have been the best at whatever you were doing in your formation with your old team, that might not be what you're being asked to do in your new environment. So if you can lean into the older players and take that advice and really, really digest it, it's going to make all the difference in your play.
You came here as a Kentucky native coming to this town. There's also a Louisville native now who's playing on the team. Is there, when you're in that situation, is there more pressure on you, or are you more relaxed because you're in your hometown, your home state? What's that dynamic like?
No, it's exciting. I think Kentucky, having another Kentucky player on the team is awesome. And the fact that she's from Louisville is even better because now I can get some good recs from her because I'm originally from Lexington. So she can tell me all the good things. But I think the best thing about being from Kentucky is that Kentucky people root for Kentucky people. And so I am so excited for Allie to join the team. And I also am so excited what that means for the youth of players growing up in the state, because to finally have more faces of people who are from this state playing in this league, and not only in this league, but on the team in your state, is a really cool thing to watch as a little kid, and that's something that we didn't get to have growing up. So I'm very thrilled, and I hope there's more to come.
Arin, you've won in this league and seen a lot. You've had some time to probably look back at last year and see what didn't go right to get into the playoffs. What lessons did you take from that to apply to this year to try and break through?
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of lessons if you go back on that season. I think it's take the points where you can take the points. We had a lot of games last year that we had in the bag, and we dropped points late. And if you go back and you do the math at the end of the year and you take those points that we should have taken, you make playoffs. So we need to work on seeing games out this year. That needs to be our main focus. And we need to make sure that if we have points secured, you have to play to the final whistle blows.
And no more red cards.
And no more. That was my first one, by the way.
Anyone else have one more question for Arin, so she can get out and.
This is probably
Yeah.
good, right?
I'm good.
Yeah, it's fine.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys. Yeah.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. That's good. Yep. Allie, I'm sure an exciting week for you, but just, I mean, seeing the reaction on social media, did you know you had that many friends? And you know, what's it gonna be like to be playing professionally in your hometown?
I mean, I think like I said earlier, it really is a dream come true, but just kind of touching on getting the community back together. I mean, this place is so special, especially not only, you know, this team, but just this whole city. And I just think getting everyone back together, you know, from my high school, from my grade school, and then so on is just really, really special. And I just hope to keep that connection to the community.
Schedule dropped about an hour ago. You got a Thunder game again. How do you feel about that?
I think that's awesome. I mean, I haven't been here for Thunder in years, so I think getting to have that experience and just kind of kick off what makes Louisville so special, which is the Kentucky Derby, is just really going to be exhilarating. And then just showing the other teams and the other fans that come in here, like, we're here to stay, and this city is important, and this city is special. And so getting to show off something like that, not other teams can say they do that like we do.
For people who've never seen Allie George play, what do you bring to the table? What do you bring to this club?
I'm a competitor. I love to win and I hate to lose, and you'll see that every single day on the field. And I'm just here to make everyone around me better. I'm here to learn and to develop, and I just think that this atmosphere is exactly where I need to be with all these amazing players, you know, veterans that I'm here to learn from. And I just think that I want to bring any aspect of my game, whether that's competitive, fitness, mentality, and that's just what I'm here to do.
Allie, you're from Louisville, and you spent the last couple of years with Grayson's W League team, but this was the first year that the league didn't have a draft, so you had kind of full option on deciding where you wanted to go. Why Louisville?
It's always been here. I mean, I've never wanted to leave. I think going to college was something I did want to go away for, just so that I could come back here. And like I said, racing came in 2021 after I just finished my freshman season. And since then, I have a book in my room that said I want to be on that racing team in 2025. And getting to say that I did that is honestly a dream come true, but the work doesn't stop there. There's a lot more to be done. There's a lot more to prove, not only for myself, but for this team and this city. So
When you watch the NWSL and the style of play, a lot of players talk about the biggest difference kind of being that transitional speed and such. What do you think your biggest adjustment will be for yourself as a player to this league?
yeah, I think my biggest adjustment is learning the game differently here. I think there's a lot more aspects and a lot more angles you can see the game from at this league rather than in college. So I think learning from Bev, learning from my peers, and just being able to see the game and that they want me to see it, and then also in a new perspective for myself, whether that's getting up and down the field, whether that's staying home, playing with the midfield more, just really wherever they need me, and just learning every single day.
As much as it's nice to be back home and how much you know this city, how beneficial is it to be surrounded by a lot of vets?
Oh my gosh, it's so important, and everyone here, they say this team is special, but you don't even know until you're there. I mean, I'm day 2, and I already feel so connected to these girls. Everyone has the same mentality, everyone has the same goal, and being able to put that together and just see that right in front of your eyes is truly something special.
There are a lot of people named George in this town. Are you all related?
We're actually not. We're really good friends. They're great people, but we're not blood related. Yeah.
We looked into that.
It was got to be a sense of pride for you. I mean, being from here, Sacred Heart, the whole deal. I mean, how does that make you feel, knowing you're representing that school, the city, on this team?
I think it makes me feel like a leader, and I think I've always been a leader in my life, and that's what I want to continue to do for this community, for the W League, for the academy, for all those young players that are looking up. Like Arin said, I was in that boat when I was 7 years old, and I didn't have anybody in this city to look up to that's in this position. So I just want to be an inspiration for those kids, and I want to be someone that they can come to. If they need advice, if they want me out there at trainings, that's what I want to do. I want to be a face not only for this team, but for this city and the community as well.
What can you tell people about the W League and how that you think prepared you for this? What experiences did you take that helped your development as a player?
Racing's W League is so unique. I mean, you can step into first team training whenever they need it, and I think that is something that is so special. They need extra players. You can go in, you can learn. It was so nice for me. Like, I already met a lot of these girls before because of the W League, and I don't think every team can say that. And now going forward, I want to be able to connect those girls again. So I know a lot of those girls, and I know there'll be a lot of new faces. So keeping that connection, I think, is so important going forward, and I'm so blessed that I had that opportunity for the past 3 years.
I saw Bev Yanez. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
You gonna miss Elrod?
By asking, in weather like this, how do you train?
No, absolutely. I mean, obviously, doing the best that we can to see what it looks like, also having contingency plans in place. It's just obviously the physical guidance for the session itself, being the first session back, the weather being this way, is just being very clear on what that looks like. So obviously a shorter session, but a nice introduction session.
You're headed to Florida pretty soon, though, right?
Yes,
You're just
yes.
probably trying to get to that point.
Yes. We spoke about all the preseason dates today in our team meeting, and obviously looking forward to supposed warm weather. Let's hope that stays that way. But yeah, absolutely.
What's the early impressions of the schedule obviously being announced today?
Yeah, no, we came in today and had a great team meeting. Talked about kind of the layout for the season, the goals, we're just looking forward to getting started. We've mapped out the fact of our start date to when preseason officially ends is 52 days, including off days. So I think it gives everyone an opportunity to digest the micro topics that we'll be able to touch throughout preseason to put us in a good spot to start the season off well.
It's a different off-season for you guys, obviously, with more draft. It probably helped bring in Allie. What's it been like for you as a head coach, kind of seeing this roster take shape and how different it's been this offseason?
Yeah, it's been really exciting. Obviously, coming in today, seeing everyone's faces, seeing obviously those that have returned, the players that we have signed, and then the invitees, and then obviously some additions to staff as well. So it's been really great to all get together in a room and have that very first meeting. And I think for us, it's just obviously what we would like to accomplish this season and continuing to build those relationships, continuing to build as quick as possible in order to accomplish what we would like this season.
How important was it for you to have someone like Allie here? Obviously a great player in and of itself, but someone that just gets what it's like to be from here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she loves the city. The city's a part of her. And when you talk about building relationships from our football club with the community, and obviously we were very impressed with the opportunity we had to follow her collegiately and obviously playing for our W League as well. So yeah, I think she's a fantastic addition. She's a great person, and she will bring a lot to this environment, and we're very happy.
What does she bring to the pitch?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she's a very physical player. She likes to communicate. She showcased leadership in multiple levels. So, I think she's just going to bring her authentic self. And I think on top of that, she has a lot of attributes that I believe would be really successful in league. So looking forward to working with her, continuing to develop areas of her game, and specifically the back line.
You have 2 other new signings as well. So we
Yes,
talked about
yes.
But can you just briefly talk about kind of what you were looking for and how they fit that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll start with Sarah Weber. I think Sarah Weber caught my eye instantly. If you jump on Y Scout and you literally just hit clips, you see someone that just embodies everything from a values perspective, that characteristics that we are looking for. She just works her butt off very consistently, and obviously within that has showcased that she can score goals. She could play multiple positions. So we were very excited to bring her on board and very excited to spend some time here early on getting to know her. And then obviously Ella, fantastic last season at Duke. A very quick, very technical lefty. And yeah, she's just been exciting to watch, follow, and obviously now to have both of them and all three of them as our new signings here at the club, it was incredibly exciting. Yeah.
What do you tell them about that early adjustment to the NWSL from college? Like, what do you think jumps out as the biggest thing you got to get used to about?
Yeah, I think it's kind of shared in the sense of like our patience, their patience with understanding that everything's just new in general, right? Outside of being in the NWSL, everything's new. It's a club. It's new expectations. It's not, it's a different coaching staff. It's different all around. So it's just being patient with the difference and also adjusting as time comes and not being afraid to ask questions to help with the adjustment process alongside their teammates and us.
So what do you see out of that back line as
Yeah.
a group? Obviously, Arin's back. There's some experienced pieces, but there's some youth that has been here before, but has not played a ton of your players like Angela and Ellie coming back with injury as well. Just what do you see for that group?
Yeah, I think just overall, we are looking to continue to build in a very positive direction. I think the reality is, look, every preseason, everybody sits down and does the same things, which is what? They go over goals, they go over culture, they go over plans for the season. Everybody's doing the same thing right now. So what is going to make us different? How will we live by these goals? How will we live by these behaviors? How will we live by this culture? It's going to be really important across the board for every player and every staff member. And so for us, it's just getting together. It's being very clear in all of those aspects and driving the ship forward.
What was your biggest takeaways from year one as being a head coach that you're either bringing in or something that you learned that you want to bring to the team?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think self-reflection is a massive part of everything that we do. I think I'd be silly to sit here and tell you as a first-year head coach I didn't have any of that, but I hope to have that, and I hope to be in this industry for a long time. But I also always hope that I'm self-reflecting in 5 years from now, 6 years from now, 3 years from now. The reality is I spent a lot of time self-reflecting, and it came down to very specifically of how I could continue to build relationships with the players and the staff to understand what are their needs and why, to understand what are their learnings, how do they like to learn, are they more long-term goal-driven, are they short-term goal-driven, these types of nuances. So a big part of the off-season was spent having the players do personality traits tests. And I broke them down into survey traits and job behaviors to understand what they're like at work and who they are essentially as a human being and what behaviors change in work, at work, and just to better understand them, to be able to connect with them. Because the reality is I want that connection to get the most out of them, because if I get the most out of the individual, I get the most out of the group.
That's interesting. Is there any specific trait that you found to be extra coachable or something like that?
No. It's just about, specifically I'll speak, from a staff perspective, even understanding my personality traits and a little bit of who I am was very fascinating. I'm sure my husband would be like, I knew that, because that's the first person I've thought of. I was like, wow, he's told me that before. That's funny. Just learning more about myself and the people around me. So how I function, what my personality's like, but then what's the staff look like around me? They're balancing me in other areas that maybe is not specific to my personality, but it's very specific to theirs. So it goes across the board with what we're looking for and what we're looking at. And I think, it's just been fun to better understand the players. And it's just in a space of building that relationship from IDPs all the way to specific detail and how we give it, when we give it. Does somebody need more connections because they're very social versus someone who's a little bit more analytical and maybe needs a little bit more facts, a little bit more data, maybe less check-ins. And it's just trying to understand them a little bit better in that sense.
The roster hasn't changed.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
The roster hasn't changed much. Was that the plan at the end of last season? Did you say to yourself, hey, I want this same group that I had here coming back next season, and why?
Yeah, I think for me it was just an opportunity to, like I said, a part of the reflection process is where are we at, where would we like to go, what are we looking for? And most importantly, I've mentioned this morning in the team meeting, is you could talk about X's and O's all you want, whatever people use, whatever magnets, whatever colors you'd like, but if you don't have the culture right, there's no point in diving into the X's and O's. So really setting a very good base culturally right off the get-go was the most important thing for me. And so obviously that was what we're looking to build here pretty early on, and very excited about that.
Thank you, Bev.
Yeah, of course. Thank you,
We'll
guys.
let you get out there.
Yeah,